So here we go. I just filed my Steelers mailbag, last podcast of the week. And on that podcast, I mentioned, hey, if Aaron Rodgers signs, Gabe Davis, or something like that, I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. So I recorded filed that one, signed my, did a Locked On podcast, and we were interviewing the Locked On Browns host, and in the middle of the podcast, boom, Aaron Rodgers makes it official. He is a Pittsburgh Steeler. So I have to react to it, guys. I'm pretty excited about it, and frankly, a little bit of fanboy. I can't wait to see that guy in person on Tuesday in minicamp. He's a legend. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks that's ever laced them up. I really have him high on my list. And before Mahomes, he was really, really high on my list in terms of, what he's done in this league. Now, this is not going to be a long podcast. We've talked this to death. I've assumed that Rodgers is going to be a Steeler now for the last 2 months. And if you listen to the show, I think my actions have reflected that. So it's not like, oh, this is new news. Didn't see this coming, or this is what he has in the tank, blah, 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 blah. But I'll start with this, is you can't convince me that 5 minutes after OTAs, optional, happened that he signs. Like, I think this was behind the scenes, agreed upon months ago, that as soon as OTAs are over, I'll sign the contract. I'll be there at mandatory minicamp with Metcalf and Watt and Slay and guys like that haven't been there. And we'll all get this thing rolling together. Trust me, he did not need to be at OTAs. He doesn't have to be at minicamp. Cam Hayward doesn't need to be at OTAs. He wasn't there last year. Like, he knows that OTAs aren't a joke, but they're not going to make him a better or worse football player. So, and he would look bad. Again, I'm just guessing, but I've been around this sport for a long time. I'm just guessing that if he would have signed a month ago and not shown up at OTAs, people would be like, oh, look, he doesn't care. He only cares about himself, blah, 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 blah. That it'd be a bad look for him. And meanwhile, he's like, I would rather enjoy my vacation and be a 42-year-old multimillionaire, which he has every right to do. So I have no problem with this at all. And again, I think the Steelers have operated under the assumption that Rodgers is going to be their starting quarterback for months now. And if you're close to the organization, it's almost like they basically just said, yeah, when Aaron gets here, we'll be fine. So this doesn't surprise me at all. The timing is obviously very deliberate. Rodgers is very conscious of how this works on and off the field, to say the least. Folks, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. With the largest selection of odds and everything from the NBA to NHL playoffs to MLB to UFC and boxing, BetOnline is you covered for all your online wagering information. In between games, head over to BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, I want to wrap this short podcast up with just some football stuff, though. I'm sure you've all done some of Rodgers' homework, and clearly you've watched him play football over the years, most of it at an extremely rare high level. And he is a super smart guy. A little odd, and set in his ways and all that stuff, fine. But high on himself and sees the world differently than a lot of people, from what I understand. Fine. But he knows how to win in this game, and he's super smart and has a remarkable understanding of offenses. He will have no problem whatsoever learning the scheme, grasping it immediately, and then probably schematically taking it to a new level. Well, how about we do this? Or at the line of scrimmage, I don't care who tells him, he's going to check into plays he wants, which he should. I hope he does. I don't think he's going to be like, man, this off-tackle run's going to gain -1 yards. I'm not running it. I don't care who's in my headset. I mean, that's great. I think that is something that is wonderful about Rodgers still. I mean, if the defense is trying to make a substitution late, he's going to snap the ball and get him a 12-man on the field and throw a bomb and get the penalty. Like, he still has every trick in the of the trade. I mean, he is a masterful mind quarterback, and he can still throw it. And if you listen to that mailbag episode, I just happened to let it slip out, and I said it today, Thursday, on the drive down at the facility, that it just so happens Wednesday night I did more Rodgers homework, and I got more and more excited about him as a football player, as a passer. He's still a nearly elite thrower of the football. Arm angles, all the different throws you can make, off balance. He doesn't move like he used to. He sure does not like getting hit, and he will dump the ball off more or throw it away. But he's done that through his whole career, too. I mean, he basically, I mentioned this with Russell Wilson. The only two players in NFL history with a better TD to interception ratio in their career than Russell Wilson are Rodgers and Mahomes. So he's always known when to hold him and when to fold him. And now he might be, he's definitely more apt, not to the end of Ben career level, but I'm going to get the ball in my hands. I'm not getting hit by a 320-pound lineman that I see coming. I'm getting out of my hands in a dump out or throw away. And again, he was always really good about throwing it away too. But he can throw it, and I'm excited about from the neck up what he brings in a big way, as well as the leadership presence, which Russell Wilson had some. And, you know, hey, fanboy, it was cool seeing Russell Wilson a year ago for the first time. Wow, that guy's won a Super Bowl. He's a big-time dude. Everyone on the planet knows who he is. But he ain't no Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Aaron Rodgers, to me, is a top 5 all-time quarterback. He's not a top 5 quarterback in the league right now. But I think there's a chance that they will have... Well, I think their offense will be noticeably better. And the thing I said on the podcast that I recorded 5 minutes ago is I very much believe he is the best quarterback they've had since Ben's elbow surgery. Since prime Ben, I will be blown away if Rodgers is not the best signal caller they've had during that stretch. And there's been a lot of them, as you know, and they've all been subpar. And I expect him to be an above average starting quarterback. I don't think he's going to be Mahomes. That's not what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to be the multiple MVP quarterback that he was at one point. There'll be some late career Elway in there, you know, of just managing the game at a brilliant level, knowing how to win in this league. And he'll need help. He'll need a line. He'll need a running game. One more pass catcher sure wouldn't hurt. But I'm excited about it. I mean, I have been from the start. And I just think that there's a world where Steelers get a wild card. They got to go to Buffalo or Kansas City or Cincinnati or Baltimore against some big-time quarterback. And he outduels that guy that day. That day, you know. That Saturday night, wild card round 1, the old Cowboy gets the better of Josh Allen. It could happen. And that's exciting to me. 1-year deal. I still think next year you draft one really high. But in the meantime, this year got a lot more fun. And I will say, what worries me for sure is just longevity, durability over the course of the season. You know, like, he's older, he's skinnier, you know, and he's not as big and strong as Ben was at the end. But can he last 17 games plus? We'll see. But I also think that's why Rudolph was picked up back in the day. Like, we don't know how much we'll get out of him, but we think he'll be pretty good when he's here. And Rudolph can get you by for 2 or 3 weeks if he's nursing something. And I mentioned the film I watched last night too. The end of the season was just way better than the beginning. And part of it was because they had Devontae Adams. They got him at the trade deadline, the Jets. Their system was kind of a mess to begin with. But I think the further away he was from his injury that suffered his first year in New York, the better and better and more comfortable he got. And he doesn't move like he used to, but he's still really smart about when he does. As you can tell, I'm psyched. You know, I think the season now is going to be a lot more fun, officially. You know what I mean? that's all I got. Again, you guys have been listening to me, and thank you for quite a while now, and I've given you tons of Rodgers thoughts as if this was a foregone conclusion, which I think it has been for sure. And the timing, to me, just speaks volumes. This was pre-planned. You can't convince me otherwise. But wanted to get you guys something quick and pretty fun stuff. It really, really is. All right, take care.